Have you ever woken up with tingling fingers, weak legs, or that odd buzzing in your feet that won't go away, thinking maybe it's just age catching up with you? But what if I told you it's not just age, and your nerves are quietly crying out for help? Here's something nobody talks about. Your nerves can age just like your skin, and the damage often starts from silent inflammation and poor nutrition. In this video, we'll uncover how vitamin E and omega-3 for nerves work as a powerful duo to protect nerves from inflammation and even support anti-aging for nerves, in a way your doctor might not have mentioned. And you'll hear Linda's story, how she went from numb legs and memory lapses to walking 3 miles every morning after just one simple change in her daily routine. Plus, I'll reveal the surprising mistake she was making with her supplements that 80% of seniors unknowingly repeat. We'll also talk about the best forms of these nutrients, the right time to take them, and how they quietly repair your nervous system without harsh medications. And before we dive in, drop a comment if you've ever wondered whether your brain fog, fatigue, or nerve pain could be reversed with nutrition. I'd love to know what you're personally dealing with. Ready to feel clearer, stronger, and more in control of your own body again? Let's begin. Number 1. What's really causing your nerve inflammation? Let me ask you something that might surprise you. Have you ever felt that pins and needles sensation? Or maybe your legs feel heavy like they're walking through mud, and you've wondered, is this just aging or something deeper? Most people blame nerve problems on high blood sugar or diabetes. And while that's part of the story, it's far from the full picture. The truth is, nerve inflammation often begins years before blood sugar becomes an issue. And the real triggers, they hide in plain sight. Things like processed seed oils, constant emotional stress, lack of quality sleep, and even long-standing deficiencies in essential fats and antioxidants can quietly damage your nerves day by day without you realizing. When your body can't cool down internal inflammation, your nerves become irritated, swollen, and confused. They begin firing random signals, leading to burning, tingling, or numbness. Some people even lose their sense of balance or feel like their legs no longer listen to their brain. That's what's interesting. A study from the University of Maryland found that chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the strongest predictors of nerve degeneration in older adults, even in those who are not diabetic. And yet, no one's talking about how to calm this fire from the inside out. I remember a gentleman named Paul, who came into my community group complaining that every evening, his feet would burn like they were standing on coals. He thought it was just circulation, but when we looked closer, it turned out his diet was packed with omega-6 vegetable oils and almost no vitamin E. Once he shifted just a few habits, the change in just 4 weeks shocked even his doctor. So if you've been told that nerve pain is just part of aging, don't accept it so easily. There's more to the story, and you deserve to know what your body truly needs to heal. And that brings us to a nutrient that's rarely given credit, but quietly works behind the scenes to shield your nerves from this kind of silent inflammation. Let's talk about vitamin E, and why I call it the unsung hero that calms your nerves. Number 2. Vitamin E, the unsung hero that calms your nerves. Did you know your nervous system is constantly under attack, not just from disease, but from everyday stress, pollution, even the food you eat? Vitamin E, though rarely talked about, is like the gentle hand that soothes an overstimulated nerve, the bodyguard that shields your nerves from constant friction. Most people think of vitamin E only as a skin vitamin, but few realize how crucial it is for calming inflammation deep within the nerve linings. In fact, researchers from the University of Oslo found that older adults with low vitamin E levels had a 2-6 times higher risk of peripheral nerve degeneration, especially in the feet and hands. That buzzing, burning, or even that numb spot you can't explain can sometimes be a silent cry from nerves starved of antioxidant protection. Here's how it works. Vitamin E helps prevent oxidative stress, which is like rust on your nerves caused by years of inflammation and poor circulation. It also protects the myelin sheath, that fatty layer around your nerves that acts like insulation. Once the myelin breaks down, the signals your brain sends get scrambled, leading to tingling, misfires, and eventually, pain. I once had a neighbor, Paul, who always thought his nerve pain came from his old spine injury. But after his doctor suggested adding a natural mixed tocopherol supplement, not the synthetic vitamin E, but the full-spectrum form, his symptoms improved within 6 weeks. He was finally able to button his shirt without wincing. Now here's the catch. Many seniors take vitamin E but unknowingly use the wrong kind. They buy DL-alpha tocopherol, which is synthetic and poorly absorbed. What your nerves crave is natural D-alpha tocopherol, and even better mixed tocopherols with tocotrienols. You can get it from almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, and avocado, but in most cases, food alone isn't enough to reach therapeutic levels. That's why many neurologists quietly recommend supplements for nerve support, especially for those over 60. So if you've tried everything, but your nerves still feel on edge, you might be missing this quiet warrior, vitamin E. And yet, calming the nerves is just one part of the healing journey. To rebuild them, to actually create new healthy nerve cells and restore sensation, you'll need something even deeper. Coming up next, we'll talk about omega-3 fatty acids and why most Americans, especially seniors, are severely deficient, even those who eat fish. What does it do for your brain and nerves? And why might it be the missing piece to reversing age-related decline? Let's explore that together in the next part. Number 3. Omega-3, the brain and nerve builder you're likely not getting enough of. You might be eating well, maybe even taking fish oil every now and then, but what if I told you that your brain and nerves may still be starving? Omega-3s aren't just good fats, they are the building blocks of your brain, and the raw materials your nerves need to regenerate. The most powerful of these are EPA and DHA, especially DHA, which makes up over 90% of the omega-3s found in the brain and nervous tissue. When DHA levels drop, nerve membranes become stiff, electrical signals get slower, and inflammation sneaks in through the cracks. That's when the numbness starts, the brain fog creeps in, and reflexes begin to slow. And here's the truth. According to research from Harvard, over 95% of Americans are deficient in omega-3s, and the problem gets worse as we age. You may think you're getting enough from a piece of salmon here and there, but unless you're eating fatty fish at least 3 times a week, and I mean wild-caught, not farmed, you're probably falling short. I had a viewer named Susan, 68 years old, who reached out last spring. She was struggling with brain fog and burning sensations in her legs. She tried everything, B vitamins, physical therapy, even turmeric. But it wasn't until she started taking a high-quality, triglyceride-form omega-3 supplement with over 1,000 mg of DHA per day that things began to shift. Within 2 months, she said it felt like someone turned the lights back on. So what's the best way to get enough? Cod liver oil is still gold. It's rich in DHA, plus it offers extra vitamins like A and D, which work together to reduce nerve inflammation. Small fish like sardines, anchovies, and mackerel are excellent too, and because they're lower on the food chain, they carry fewer toxins. One important tip: make sure your supplement is third-party tested for purity, and that it's in the triglyceride form, which your body absorbs more easily than the ethyl ester version. And if you've been taking omega-3s for a while but haven't noticed a difference, don't give up just yet. The problem may not be what you're taking, but how well your body is absorbing it. Which brings us to something most people never consider. You might be doing all the right things, but your gut, your liver, or even your gallbladder could be silently getting in the way. Coming up next, we'll uncover the silent reasons why many seniors don't actually absorb these nutrients properly. It's not just about what you take, it's about what your body can actually use. And once you understand that, your entire nerve healing journey can begin to accelerate. Number 4. Why most seniors do absorb these nutrients properly. You may be eating the right foods, taking all the right supplements, and still wondering why your nerves aren't healing. Why the numbness lingers, why the burning or tingling never fully goes away. The answer might not be what you're taking, but what your body is no longer absorbing. As we age, our digestive system slows down. Stomach acid production drops, bile flow from the liver becomes sluggish, and enzyme levels decline. That creates a perfect storm, especially for fat-soluble nutrients like vitamin E and omega-3s. Let's start with stomach acid. Without enough of it, minerals like magnesium and zinc can't be absorbed well, and B vitamins. They often pass right through unused. If you've been on acid blockers or proton pump inhibitors for heartburn, even more so. A study from the Journal of the American Medical Association found that long-term use of these medications is strongly linked to vitamin B12 deficiency and even higher rates of neuropathy. Then there's bile, which is needed to break down and absorb fats like omega-3s and vitamin E if your bile is thick or not flowing properly. Often due to a sluggish liver or missing gallbladder, you could be flushing those precious nutrients away without even knowing it. I remember one gentleman named Roy. He was 72, had his gallbladder removed at 60, and was taking fish oil every day. But his blood work still showed very low DHA levels. Once he added a digestive enzyme with lipase and ox bile extract, within weeks, he began noticing clearer thinking and less foot pain. It wasn't the supplement that changed. It was his body's ability to absorb it. And don't forget the gut itself. A damaged intestinal lining, often called leaky gut, can block nutrient absorption across the board. This is especially common in people with chronic inflammation, diabetes, or a long history of antibiotics. So how do you fix this? First, start simple. Eat slowly. Chew thoroughly. Bitters before meals, like arugula or a splash of apple cider vinegar in water, can gently stimulate stomach acid and bile. Second, consider a high-quality digestive enzyme, especially if you've had your gallbladder removed or suffer with bloating after fatty meals. And third, support your gut lining with collagen-rich bone broth or L-glutamine, so your nutrients have a better chance of getting through. It's not just what you eat. It's what your body can actually use. Now that we've uncovered why absorption might be the missing piece, let's talk about what to do with that knowledge. Because even if you're absorbing better, timing and dosing still make or break your results. In the next part, we'll go into when and how to take vitamin E, omega-3s, and other nutrients, so they actually reach your nerves and start making a difference. This is where strategy turns into healing. Number 5. The right dose, the right time, how to maximize benefits. Sometimes the missing piece isn't what you take, but how and when you take it. You could have the best vitamin E or omega-3 supplement on the market, but if you're taking it at the wrong time or with the wrong foods, your body may only absorb a fraction of what it needs. Let's start with vitamin E. It's fat-soluble, which means your body needs dietary fat present in the meal to properly absorb it. So, taking it on an empty stomach with water, that's like pouring oil into a dry sponge. It just sits there. For best results, take vitamin E with your main meal that includes healthy fats, like avocado, olive oil, nuts, or fatty fish. Most adults over 60 benefit from 100 to 200 IU of natural D-alpha tocopherol per day, though some may need more under guidance. And remember, not all vitamin E is created equal. Natural forms, those starting with D, are better absorbed than synthetic versions, those labeled DL. So always check the label. Now, omega-3. This one's a bit trickier. Most folks take their fish oil in the morning with breakfast. But according to research published in the journal Prostaglandins, leukotrienes, and essential fatty acids, omega-3s are better absorbed when taken with your largest meal of the day. That's often dinner for many of us. Why? because digestive enzymes and bile flow are stronger after a larger, more complete meal, which helps pull those fats into your system more efficiently. Another tip, split your dose. If you're taking 1000 mg of omega-3s daily, try 500 mg with lunch and 500 mg with dinner. It keeps levels steadier in your bloodstream, which your nerves appreciate more than you know. Now let's not forget about timing with medications. If you're on blood thinners, make sure to check with your doctor before increasing omega-3 or vitamin E, since both can have mild blood thinning effects. This isn't meant to scare you, but to empower you to make informed decisions with your healthcare provider. I once worked with a woman named Harriet. She'd been taking fish oil for months with no results, until she switched from taking it first thing in the morning to taking it with her evening salmon and vegetables. Within 6 weeks, her brain fog eased and her fingers stopped going numb. The dose didn't change. The timing did. Little tweaks like this are easy to miss, but they can completely shift how your body responds. And that brings us to something just as important as timing. What we might be doing that unknowingly cancels out all these benefits. Some daily habits, even the ones we think are healthy, can actually increase inflammation and nerve stress. Let's dive into that next, because knowing what to stop doing can be just as powerful as knowing what to start. Number 6. Mistakes that make inflammation worse. You could be eating all the right things, taking the right supplements, even exercising regularly. But if just 1 or 2 hidden habits are triggering inflammation every day, your nerves might still struggle to heal. One of the biggest culprits, highly processed vegetable oils. They sneak into nearly everything: store-bought salad dressings, crackers, even so-called healthy granola bars. Oils like soybean, canola, corn, and sunflower may sound natural, but they're often chemically processed and high in omega-6, which pushes your body into an inflammatory state. According to a study published in the Journal of Lipid Research, a high omega-6 to omega-3 ratio has been linked to neurodegenerative disorders and worsened nerve pain. Another hidden trigger: sugar, especially the kind that's added to your morning coffee, your yogurt, or your evening dessert. It's not just about calories. Sugar directly fuels oxidative stress, which is like rust forming on the delicate wiring of your nervous system. It also feeds harmful bacteria in your gut, disrupting your immune system and increasing systemic inflammation. Now here's one that surprises most people: skipping meals or going too long without eating. When your blood sugar drops too low, it stresses the nervous system and can trigger spikes in cortisol, the stress hormone that breaks down nerve tissue over time. Balanced meals with healthy fats, proteins, and fiber help keep you steady. And let's talk about chronic stress itself. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Even small daily worries, finances, isolation, poor sleep can slowly wear your body down. Studies from Harvard and Stanford show that long-term stress increases inflammatory markers like IL-6 and CRP, both associated with neuroinflammation and accelerated brain aging. I remember a man named Bill who followed his vitamin routine religiously, but was still waking up with burning feet every morning. It wasn't until we looked at his pantry that the problem became clear. His favorite snack was lightly salted, microwave popcorn made with sunflower oil and butter flavoring. He swapped it for a handful of almonds and a square of dark chocolate, and after just a few weeks, his symptoms started easing. Sometimes, what you remove makes the biggest difference. The good news is, once you spot these silent saboteurs, you can replace them with simple, nourishing habits. It's not about perfection, just small steps in the right direction. And speaking of small steps, wait until you hear what happened when one woman decided to take hers, starting with just a teaspoon of fish oil and a walk around the block. Let me introduce you to Linda. Her story just might give you goosebumps. Number 7. Linda's story, from foggy brain to joyful mornings. Linda used to call it her morning cloud. She'd wake up feeling like her brain was wrapped in cotton, words on the newspaper would blur together, and even simple tasks like making coffee felt like climbing a hill. She wasn't in pain exactly, but something inside just didn't feel right. At 67, she thought maybe this was just part of aging. She'd chuckle and say, well, the lights are still on, but they flicker sometimes. But deep down, she was scared. Scared that this was the beginning of something worse. One day, her daughter sent her an article about chronic neuroinflammation, how low-grade inflammation in the brain could lead to memory issues, fatigue, and emotional flatness. The article mentioned vitamin E and omega-3 and how powerful they were in reducing oxidative stress and protecting neurons from aging. Linda didn't know much about nutrition, but something clicked. She decided to try. She started small. Just one capsule of high-quality vitamin E in the morning, along with a teaspoon of omega-3 rich fish oil. She also swapped her margarine for real olive oil and added a handful of walnuts to her afternoon snack. 2 weeks in, she noticed her focus improved. She finished a crossword puzzle for the first time in months. By the end of the first month, she was waking up earlier, feeling clear-headed and calm. No more fog. She told me, "It's like I got a little piece of myself back." What really made the difference, Linda said, was that she finally stopped ignoring the whispers from her body. She tuned in, gave it what it needed, and it responded. Studies have shown that DHA, the omega-3 fatty acid found in fish oil, can cross the blood-brain barrier and directly nourish brain cells. And vitamin E, especially in the tocotrienol form, has been shown to reduce the risk of cognitive decline in seniors by protecting nerve cell membranes from oxidative damage. Linda's story isn't about miracle cures. It's about consistency, curiosity, and giving your body a fair chance. Her biggest lesson: it's never too late to feel better than yesterday. And she didn't stop there. In fact, she added 3 tiny habits to her routine, and they made everything else work even better. Let's take a closer look at those in the next part. They're simple, free, and might be exactly what your body has been asking for. Number 8. Lifestyle boosters, simple habits that make everything work better. Here's the surprising truth. Even the best vitamins like vitamin E and omega-3 can only go so far if your daily habits are working against them. Think of these nutrients like seeds. They need the right soil, sunlight, and water. And that soil is your lifestyle. Let's start with movement. Not intense gym workouts, but something gentle and rhythmic, like a daily 20-minute walk around your block. Movement increases circulation, which helps deliver those healing nutrients directly to your nerves. Research from the Mayo Clinic shows that light aerobic activity enhances oxygen delivery and reduces nerve inflammation. Linda, from our last story, added morning stretches with soft music, and she swears that's when things really started clicking. Next is sleep. It sounds simple, but most people don't know that deep sleep is when your brain does its detox work. That's when the glymphatic system kicks in, flushing out waste that can build up and irritate nerve tissue. Poor sleep, on the other hand, can increase inflammation and undo your progress. A cool, dark room, no screens before bed, and a consistent bedtime. These are small changes that make a big difference. Now here's one many folks overlook: emotional tension, chronic worry, unspoken grief, or holding onto resentment. These create chemical stress in the body, raising cortisol and triggering inflammation in nerves and tissues. One woman I know started a 5-minute gratitude journal each night. She didn't expect much, but after a few weeks, she noticed her tension headaches disappeared. These lifestyle boosters may not come in a bottle, but they're the fertile ground where healing takes root. And when you combine them with the right nutrition, the results are often better than you'd imagine. So if you've tried vitamin E and omega-3 before and thought they didn't work, maybe the missing piece isn't more pills. Maybe it's just one of these simple, overlooked habits. And now, as we wrap up, let's bring it all together in a way that gives you real hope. Because your nerves can heal, they just need the right chance. Your nerves can heal if you give them a real chance. So here we are. You've made it through a journey that many people skip. But not you. You stayed, you listened, and maybe somewhere along the way you saw yourself in Linda's story or found a missing piece you've been searching for. Let's take a moment to gather what we've learned. Vitamin E isn't just a skin vitamin. It's a calming force that protects your nerves from the silent fires of inflammation. Omega-3s, they're not just heart-healthy fats. They build the very structure of your brain and nervous system, like bricks in the foundation of a strong, steady house. We talked about how aging affects absorption, and how just knowing the right nutrients isn't enough. Timing, dosage, and emotional balance all matter. We peeled back the layers, not just talking about what to take, but why it matters, and how you can make it work in your real, everyday life. Small habits like a short walk, a good night's rest, or even writing down one thing you're grateful for, they're not small at all when it comes to healing. They are the roots that keep your nervous system grounded. So now the question is, what's the one thing you can do today to give your nerves a real chance? Maybe it's cleaning up your oils, maybe it's asking your doctor about your omega-3 levels, maybe it's just putting your phone down 30 minutes earlier tonight. And if you found value here, if something clicked or gave you hope, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Your story might be the one that helps someone else take that first step. If you haven't already, please hit like so this video reaches more people who need it. Subscribe, because the next video will uncover another surprising nutrient that helps your body rewire damaged nerves. And trust me, you don't want to miss that one. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your health, your peace, your healing, they matter more than you know. And now you've got the tools to make it real.